We're talking about Kentucky
all the time as SEC basketball coaches. You get tired of that?
I think I embrace it. I love college football. So, and I believe we can have a really good football league and a really good basketball league. I think sometimes because our football is so doggone good, it takes away from how good our basketball is in this league. But traditionally, if you go back this last decade, we won a couple of national championships in this league. So I think there's really good tradition in this league basketball-wise.
Would you please discuss Kentucky and all the hype that's around them? And it's like, every year it's a brand new squad that comes in there. Your thoughts about having to prepare for different teams, different players, instead of some schools that, do the normal process, growing players?
John's done a tremendous job there. And he doesn't have an easy task because you got all those different personalities, different. You're grooming a team from scratch every year, and but they're super talented. I guess we sort of did that last year, huh? We're doing it now too, but maybe not as talented as his team. But it's not an easy task, I can tell you that. And I applaud him. What he's doing, and they're going to be a talented ball club, and I think all of us in this league understand that. We got to be ready to compete.
Frank, how much do you?
Arkansas last year. They wanted their place, and blew them out of your place. Do you sense that building into a rivalry there?
I think obviously because the fact that the proximity of Fayetteville to Columbia, and the fact that I think they used to play a lot in the past. It could be a rivalry type game, and obviously us losing Kansas as a game, I think that our fans are excited and starving for a rivalry game. And we still have the Illinois game, which is a bragging rights game too. So those are two really good ball games, and I think Mike Anderson's a good friend, so I know we enjoy competing.
The fact you're going to play them every year, home and home, they're your permanent rivals. Is that just going to help build it, the Arkansas-Missouri series? Yeah,
I think so. I think obviously the two great programs, two great fan bases. I think the fact that we are going to play every year, home and home, I think that does add to the chance of it being a rivalry.
Y'all are really good friends. The game in Missouri last year in Columbia, you almost.
No. Two brothers fighting. It happens all the time, right? No, it was nothing. So, but we are good friends.
Have you and Mike kind of talked about that or talked through it or whatever?
We're good friends.
From a Missouri standpoint, what do you think about Nashville being sort of the primary home for the SEC tournament?
I think it's great. As I said earlier, I think it's great for us to have a permanent site, so to speak, for the conference tournament. I think Nashville's a great place. I think proximity of Nashville to Columbia, and so our fan base can get there. I think that's great too. I felt that the city embraced the conference tournament last year, being in Nashville. So I think that's a positive for us.
How much?
You mentioned how physical the SEC is. How do you think all the talk about officiating, maybe calling it tighter, might affect play generally?
I think time will tell. Every coach will say we've heard every year that we're going to clean the physical play up. But I think this is the first time it really has been emphasized that we have to change it, particularly above the free throw line. And I think as coaches, we've got to adjust. I imagine there'll be a lot of whistles early in the year until teams get adjusted to how the game's being officiated, and then you'll probably see teams get better at it. And hopefully that will be the case. And then once we get in conference play, we don't go back to the physical play. They all have expectations personally, so you got to get them to blend together as a team. You got to get them to understand playing together as a team, and them having success based on we having success. And that's not an easy thing to do, and that's why I applaud John in what he's done. He won a championship 2 years ago and putting together, a lot of freshmen that were, have these lofty goals, what they want to play after college, and getting them to buy into playing team basketball and sacrificing their individual goals as opposed to the team goals. Well, we got to execute better down the stretch. I think, decision making, ball handling. I'm hoping we'll be better at that this year. as we talked about our team last year, we had a lot of different guys that, we just weren't able to close out certain games. But I thought as the year went on, we got better, and then we had those injuries. So, you lose Lawrence Bowers for 5 games and Tony Criswell for a couple. We lost Keon Bell. It's hard to be consistent, and I'm not making excuses for our team, but I thought that played a role in us not being able to do some of the things we needed to do as a team down the stretch.
Florida had some issues with that last year as well. I mean, how much of that is mental or just, being a little more competitive in the moment? Billy talks a little bit about that, or what goes into maybe close game situations?
Well, I think you got to, time and situation, you got to practice those all the time, and you got to put your team in adversity situations and see how they respond. I think you consistently got to do that. And I think you'll learn more about your team when you put them in those situations.
And the fact there's no more Missouri guys that Mike recruited and coached, so that won't be a big issue. Like it was last year, but a subject anyway. How does that impact the game? Is that a little bit of a relief that you don't have to get asked about that?
I don't worry about that. I mean, those guys, when we took over the program, they were our guys. I mean, I think that we embraced those players. They were our guys, and that's for you guys to look at and figure out. But I'm not, as a coach, I never worried about when we take over a program, these are Mike's guys, these are my guys. Now we got all our guys. I never even crossed my mind.
You envision with your roster like it was, with the way it is now, playing a lot of maybe 4-guard, 3-guard like 2 years ago, or how do you view?
I do think we have versatility to be able to do that if we want. I think we could play Ernest Ross at the 4 and play 4 guards. But I also think we do have the ability to be big too. And that's what I like about this team.